this,
Well,
look, whether or not it's criminal, whether or not it warrants special counsel status, are you concerned about this stuff?
Here's what I'm concerned about. During the Trump administration, we saw the development of a completely new public philosophy, which is that government is not an instrument of the common good and the public interest. Government is an instrument for private self-enrichment for the guy who gets in. His son-in-law, Jared Kushner, pocketed a cool $2 billion
from Saudi Arabia.
And in a corporation he created.
And he had the Saudi portfolio in the White House. But what about Hunter?
So I am concerned about it, and I'm concerned not just about public officials like Donald Trump and Jared Kushner do it, but even family members who water ski along for the ride. And we're going to release a report about all of the foreign government emoluments, millions of dollars we can document that Donald Trump pocketed at the hotels, at the golf courses, through business deals when he was president, and that his family got. But they've not laid a glove on Joe Biden.
Oh, that's gonna hurt!
Okay, so we know if Jamie Raskin says that he's going to release a report, it will possess those things that Republicans seem to be lacking in their giant waste of taxpayer dollars. Substance and evidence.
Truth of what exactly the Biden family was doing with our adversaries in China.
Okay, we will see where the next chapter leads. James Comer, thank you for your time. It's rather incendiary, and we'll see whether or not you're onto something. Again, 5 years investigating. Nothing just yet.
While appearing on Meet the Press over the weekend, House Oversight Committee ranking member Jamie Raskin said that he will oversee a report to be released about the millions of dollars Donald Trump, Ivanka Trump, and Jared Kushner pocketed while they were in the White House.
Look, whether or not it's criminal, whether or not it warrants special counsel status, are you concerned about this stuff?
Here's what I'm concerned about. During the Trump administration, we saw the development of a completely new public philosophy, which is that government is not an instrument of the common good and the public interest. Government is an instrument for private self-enrichment for the guy who gets in, for his family, for his private businesses. And that's a model that we're seeing all over the world.
But you don't approve of that model, obviously.
I do not.
You denounced that model.
That's what Putin is doing.
Donald Trump, yeah.
That's what Orban is doing. That's what Marcos is doing. That's what El Sisi is doing. That's what
it's been going on since the dawn of mankind.
Well, but it's new for America that somebody would get in and basically just say, everything is corrupt and I'm just as corrupt as the next guy, and I'm going to take money, as Trump did, from China, from Saudi Arabia, from the United Arab Emirates. I mean, look, his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, pocketed a cool $2 billion
from Saudi Arabia.
And in a corporation he created.
And he had the Saudi portfolio in the White House. But what about Hunter?
So I am concerned about it, and I'm concerned not just about public officials like Donald Trump and Jared Kushner do it, but even family members who water ski along for the ride. And I have been, begging my colleague, Chairman Comer, for us to do a serious analysis of what the laws should be about money making.
And you would take part in a serious investigation?
Yes, of course we would. And we're going to release a report about all of the foreign government emoluments, millions of dollars we can document that Donald Trump pocketed at the hotels, at the golf courses, through business deals when he was president, and that his family got. But they've not laid a glove on Joe Biden as president. They haven't been able to show any criminal corruption on his part. What they've got is Hunter Biden, and we all seem clear that this guy was addicted to drugs and did a lot of really unlawful and wrong things. And we have said, let the justice system run its course. They're not saying that about Donald Trump. Anytime Donald Trump actually gets indicted after a grand jury has already determined that there's probably
they attack the prosecutors.
Anyone who's been forced to listen as James Comer shamelessly discusses the disgrace of someone using their family name to enrich themselves, while failing to mention or discuss the former president of the United States, who not only helped in that matter, but put his own family members in positions of power within government. This is about time.
Not aware of any wrongdoing by the president. That 1023 form that Republicans like Jim Comer and everyone love to wave around, he says it wasn't any evidence of wrongdoing on the part of President Biden, that it wasn't evidence of a bribe. He knows nothing of the, quote, $5 million that the Burisma board allegedly gave to Joe Biden. He also talked about what happened with Viktor Shokin, the Ukrainian prosecutor being fired by Joe Biden and the rest of the international community. He said that Viktor Shokin was good for Burisma, that he wasn't investigating corruption there. Every piece of evidence, so-called evidence, that the Republicans have has utterly fallen apart, which is why Chuck Grassley and Ron Johnson have admitted on our air multiple times that they don't, quote, have it yet.
But it's not just MVP Jamie Raskin who discussed this matter. Representative Garcia recently brought out pictures to make it easy for Republicans to swallow this as he outlined the disparity.
Now, this is, of course, in stark contrast to the Trump crime family. The majority conveniently glazes over the Trump's family's foreign dealings. The Trump family, who, of course, were actually appointed to White House senior jobs, from Ivanka's Chinese trademarks to Jared's Qatari real estate bailout and $2 billion in Saudi private equity money. So where's that investigation? They were actually in the White House. And I think Chris Christie, one of the Republicans running for president, said it best, of course, in the former governor. This is his quote, not mine. The grift from the family is breathtaking. It's breathtaking. Jared Kushner and Ivanka Kushner walk out of the White House and months later get $2 billion from the Saudis. Continue. You think it's because it's some kind of investigative genius or investing genius? Or is it because he was sitting next to the President of the United States for 4 years and doing favors for the Saudis? Now, these are quotes from a man who's known Trump and the Kushners for years. These people are in the White House every day, formally making policy, unlike Hunter Biden.
And who can forget when the queen of alternate facts herself, Kellyanne Conway, was presented with this very same point on Fox News of all places, and she went into complete meltdown.
A lot of discussion during the Trump White House years that there was collusion with Russia, there were massive investigations, millions of dollars spent, and always the question, you know, what are they getting in return? So do you have the same question for the Biden family when you look at this money transaction? What was China getting in return? Is that something Americans must know?
Well, we haven't established, Congresswoman May said to you when you asked the question directly, Martha, have you established a connection between this money going to Hunter Biden's, to Beau Biden's widow and the Chinese? And she said, well, we're going to continue investigating. But she can't say there's any tie, and I can't say there's any tie. What we have is a check to a widow from someone who was paid by the Chinese with no context. We don't know what this money was for. In fact, the same person had sent checks to her before there was any payment from the Chinese. It seems to me like, you know, when you mentioned what's going on with the Trump administration, you would, and I think Jamie Raskin is onto this as well, the congressman from Maryland who's on the committee, saying, you know, why aren't we investigating the Trump accounting firms? Or why don't you look into things like Jared Kushner getting $2 billion directly from the Saudis after former President Trump bragged about protecting the Saudi prince? We just don't know, but I think this is a thin veil for the fact that, you know, after all this investigation and talk about Hunter Biden, the committee's come up with zero, with nothing. And they got the laptop, they got this, that, nothing.
Kellyanne, is that a fair question about Jared Kushner?
They just got there. Well, Jared, of course, is the only person I think who's benefited in the billions with a B from the Trump presidency, that's for sure. But look, I think whataboutism isn't going to work. The other way, you know what, Juan? On this network, you called for my firing because of ridiculous Hatch Act, because I said Elizabeth Warren had lied about her ethnicity for 34 years. She did, because I said Joe Biden was an old, rich, white, straight guy. He is. You said I should be fired for that. And you're okay with the Biden family getting $3 million? That's rich.
All right, I'm going to let...
And as Raskin points out, the issue at hand, in which Republicans claim to care so much about, has been an issue throughout Donald Trump's presidency, but they failed to ever show any sort of concern when it was his family members not only enriching themselves, but doing so in positions within government. Hunter Biden has never been in office.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.